Tonight's episode is brought to you by Three Little Letters, the most dangerous three letters in all of WWE. RKO. Tonight on Ramblers Unleashed. How long until Baron decides he needs to be in Vegas next month? Is Max really about to shame a goat? All this and more next on Ramblers Unleashed.
This video contains gratuitous use of profanity and uncomfortable pauses to compensate for lack of professionalism and original thought. Viewer discretion advised.
The wrestling podcast that sets all other podcasts apart. Covering news from the world of WWE, AEW, TNA, and more. Your favorite weekly episodic podcast, Ramblers Unleashed, starts now.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to Ramblers Unleashed, your weekly episodic podcast for news from the world of WWE, AEW, TNA, and sometimes more. Let's introduce our Ramblers. Up first, the man who is higher than a jet airliner and whose signature catchphrase is and always will be
420.
Round of applause for the Baron. All right. How are you tonight, Baron?
Dude, I'm doing good, man. Dude, it was like 80 degrees here where I'm at. When weather's nice, like I feel like people are different, right? So I don't know. It was a good day. I'm happy to be here, ready to ramble, big time ramble tonight.
I've noticed that 99% of the time on Rambling Day, you're the one going, "You fellas ready to ramble tonight?" I think you're more excited than some of our most faithful listeners.
I think I am. And it's down to us too. Nobody else, Dizzy, part-time Dizzy.
How's that going?
The Game of Mac fucking Seams Styles. Where are they at? What are they doing?
They have abandoned the stoner and the lazy fat guy. How dare.
Bastards.
Up next, the other member of the Ramblers crew. For without you, we'd be a couple of idiots talking to each other on a video call. Give it up for yourselves over there in the chat. All right, guys. We are on the road to WrestleMania 42 in Vegas, baby. And we're only 30 days away from the show of shows. It is official. And huge. Obafemi has officially accepted the Brock Lesnar challenge. Now, I'm a little nervous about this match. If Oba loses, even to Brock, you will officially kill all the momentum he has built up. I'm hoping they have him win this match. That momentum is what makes him one of the most anticipated call-ups of all time. Right? I mean, am I just spitballing here, Baron?
There's no way he's losing, right? I mean, there is no way that they would put Brock. I don't even think Brock would allow that. And I will say there was a call in that ring that was very noticeable that made it look even better. And after reading some of our favorite, dirt sheets or whatever we want to call them, Brock did call that spot where he put his leg over him, right? Or on top of his chest. So, there's hope. I'm giving it hope. I just don't think Brock has beaten Oba. I think this is the one time where it's like, all right. But I'm looking forward to the match. And let me tell you, the crowd on Monday night went fucking insane for Oba. So we love to see that. And when they build big stars like that, it's really good.
I love the fact that Seth didn't flinch when Brock got in the ring. He just stood there and was like, okay. And then Oba's music hit and the grin got even bigger on Seth's face.
Do you think it was coincidence or like,
I mean,
what I'm saying? Or did he call him out or did he call for his help?
I don't necessarily think he called for his help, but I don't think it was a coincidence.
Yeah.
I think that word got out that Oba is probably looking for some retribution after Royal Rumble. And so Oba saw his chance and went out there to take it while he could. I don't think it mattered that Seth was in the ring. I think Seth knew what Oba was coming for when the music hit, though. I think it wasn't a coincidence, but I think Seth was pretty much negligible in that moment. I don't think he really had anything to do with it. I think it was just Brock's in the ring. I want Brock. I'm going down there.
What a good opening segment that was, though.
Oh yeah, I loved what Heyman. Listen, I say what you will about how Heyman handled the business side of stuff back when he was running ECW, back when they left him in control of the WWE's version of ECW. Fine, keep him away from the financial side of things. Don't let him make budget decisions. But damn, that dude knows how to put on a show. I don't care who you are. The man knows what he's doing, and he does I don't need commentary when Paul Heyman's there.
Bloodshot eyes. Everything.
Yeah. I don't need... So we've talked before about how I think the best matches don't require commentary. Brother versus brother. You can mute the commentary, and you can still tell the story in the match. Paul Heyman is that guy for me. I don't care how badly they're putting on that match. If you're watching Heyman's reactions, you know what the story is. All throughout that match. No commentary table needed if Heyman's facial reactions are on camera. That's my opinion.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's fucking great at what he does. The segment was great. I don't think we give enough props to Seth and the whole thing, right?
We should. Seth is amazing. I mean, he just stood there, was calm about the whole thing. You know, like he didn't have a care in the world. Seth is phenomenal. Seth and Becky are two of the best. And Paul Heyman is legitimately a living legend when it comes to telling a story with his face. I love Heyman.
So my big thing is here with Seth going after his vision. Who's he facing here? Is it Breaker? Is it?
I'm glad you brought that up because there is talk. And I talked about this a couple weeks ago, too. The Braun Breaker injury is minor enough that he should be recovered in time for WrestleMania 42. But on top of that, I actually saw an article today, which I didn't pull up because I have a lot of other stuff for us to discuss, and I didn't want to add another full article to our discussion. But right now, there's rumors that Breaker will be back in time for WrestleMania 42. The rumor is also that Seth is either already cleared or will be. I mean, you'll notice nobody has been able to get close enough to put their hands on Seth, which means that they could just have him there for the Impact until he's actually cleared, or maybe he is cleared. Either way, I am pretty sure that both Seth and Braun Breaker will be cleared in time for WrestleMania 42, and we are going to see them clash at the Show of Shows. That's my opinion, anyway.
It almost has to be, right? Because it can't be.
Well, the other likely possibility would be Bronson Reed, and Bronson Reed's out. I don't see it being Logan Paul or Theory at WrestleMania. I could see him facing them leading up to Mania, but I just don't see either one of those two being Seth Rollins' WrestleMania match. It just, to me, okay. I have lamented the fact that Logan Paul forces me to say nice things about him, and not because he's calling me up and going, you better say nice things about me. The fact that he has gone out there and done stuff that has me begrudgingly going, I have to say nice things about this guy. I can't stand him. I think he's a horrible person, a horrible human being. But god damn, the guy learned how to wrestle. And he shows it every time he gets in that ring. That being said, I think he and Theory are two small potatoes for a Seth Rollins match this year at WrestleMania. However, I think there is the possibility that we see them going for the tag titles at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I agree with that. For sure, absolutely.
I mean, the seed was planted on Monday. Heyman said focus on the tag titles. So I honestly think that's where we're going to see them in 30 days.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the other four matches we know about so far. Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley will be going at it for the women's championship. And real briefly, I want to touch on this because Jade Cargill made some comments on social media and Rhea Ripley responded. But now I'm hearing rumors that Jade's comments are being considered across the line by the locker room. And they say that, and the reports I'm seeing say this isn't the first time the locker room has accused her of taking it too far in the attempt to build heat. Now, as a guy who's done this for a while, let me just say what I've seen of the comments. If she's going into this match as the heel, I don't see anything that's too far across the line. We're not going to talk about that other comment from that other company that was across the line, except to say this. I don't agree with what he said. That doesn't mean that he should get death threats. That's across the line. He said something despicable. Don't make it worse and don't sink to that level by sending death threats. That's all I want to say about that. But I don't see anything from Jade Cargill that's truly across the line. I think that they're doing a very good job of building the heat on social media. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I totally agree. I'm not really invested. Give me hopefully Rhea wins this match with ease. Motionless and White comes out, does a performance for her, and that's that. Jade does nothing for me, even with stirring up social media. So
yeah. Our next match that we're going to talk about real quick is going to be a very unpopular thing is about to come out of my mouth, and I'm going to hear about it from my co-host over here, and I'm very sorry. Up next is Stephanie McCare versus Baron's girl Liv, and I got to be honest, I'm not saying, I want you to understand before I say what I'm about to say, I don't think Liv doesn't deserve the title. She totally does. I do not see her winning the title from Stephanie McCare at WrestleMania. I see Stephanie McCare retaining the belt. But I want you to understand that doesn't mean I don't think Liv deserves it. That's not how I see this being booked right now.
I don't either. So you're in luck on this one. I agree with you, actually. As much as I would love to see Liv win, I don't see it that way. I really think Raquel and Liv, possibly a returning Roxanne, something happens there at Mania, which screws Liv over. I don't see that. Yeah, I actually agree with you, sadly, and I'm not a big fan of that. That's an unpopular opinion here as well.
I would have felt confident that Liv would win it had they gone with the story that we suggested here on the show. If Raquel had won the Elimination Chamber and worked her way into that match, making it a triple threat, then I would have said, I'm pretty sure Liv is going to take the title.
Yeah, I agree. And I think I'm thinking the same exact way as you on that. So, yeah, we're actually in agreement.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, like I said, I'm sorry. I think she deserves the belt, but I don't think that's the way this is going. I think we're looking at Stephanie McCare. Then we have Cody versus the Viper. Oh. Okay. Before I get to that, because the show is brought to you by the 3 letters RKO. So that should be the last match we talk about for Mania. Also on the card, though, is CM Punk versus Roman Reigns, and this thing is really heating up. They're bringing the families into this. Jay and Jimmy came out and demanded an apology. I mean, these guys are really taking their barbs to the next level, the insults they're hurling at each other. And I know we have talked about this many times on the show, and you say this every time Roman has a main event match. You say that you will never bet against Roman Reigns again. And you know what? I'm going against the OTC on this one, Baron.
Never put your money against Roman here. We know that. And is that opinion skewed because of the promos?
No.
Okay.
listen, the way they've been building it, apparently there's also a fake arrest warrant out or press charges being pressed, like a work charges being pressed thing for CM Punk's hit on Roman Reigns Monday night. I just think the way they're building this, they're trying to make it look like Roman is unbeatable up against CM Punk, which tells me that they plan for CM Punk to win. They plan for CM Punk to overcome this unbeatable force that they're putting him up in WrestleMania. That's what I'm seeing going into this.
I yeah, I mean, I definitely see your point here. Like I said, I don't ever bet against Roman, right? Punk has got his title. Punk is headlining the Mania. I mean, this is definitely night 2, right? Like, I think we can confirm it's night 2.
I
Though
mean, it's Roman, so I think it
yeah,
has to
but
be night 2.
the last match we're going to talk about, it could be considered that with what's happening there, right? So I like I said, never bet against Roman. I think he is the man. But I love what's happening between the two. I wish Roman Reigns would let go. You could tell in the ring he's a tad bit. I don't want to say below, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like he's not fully confident in the ring with CM Punk on the mic. I think somewhat nervous in a sense.
Yeah. I mean, I see what you're saying. I do. I just. And look, we know I've been wrong before when I make my picks for the PLEs. But if you'll remember correctly, last year, WrestleMania, I was only second place overall on picks between our viewers and us. It was Mir, and then it was me, which is kind of how Mir won free merch.
Who?
But Mir.
Where's Mir?
I don't know. I mean, we are on an atypical night, so.
Fair. Good point.
So, all right. Finally, we have to talk about the other main event. And if you saw SmackDown Friday, this one is getting bloody. And I mean that literally. Cody said that once that match is over, he's still going to love Orton and they're still going to be friends. And then Orton went full Viper on him. And wow. Had him cradled in the stairs, the steel steps at one point. Bloody. Yeah, I mean, it was rough. Orton is in full Viper mode. And if you saw his promo Monday talking to Cole, which I actually think the Orton portion of it was pre-recorded, and that's why there really wasn't a real exchange there. He points out that if you pay attention to Cody's song, there's more than one royal family in wrestling. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know which way this is going. I really don't. And I really feel like, and I could be wrong on this, but I really feel like that they're probably going to let Orton get his next title under his belt this year at Mania. He doesn't have a lot of time left on his career. We're on the back end of his career. He may not be retiring this year or next, but we're talking the time is running out. Everybody from his class at OVW is either retired or is retiring this year. So if we're going to get him more titles under his belt, this might be the time to do it.
I'm all for Orton Reign. I think he's best when he's heel, right? Though is he heel? We can all debate that. I mean, Orton's Orton, right? I think we all love him at this point. But I feel as if, this would be a great time to put a title on him. Beat the hell out of Cody. Orton's always great. He's always in phenomenal shape. He's a guy I'm not too sure. You could kind of see when someone is done. Orton is a hard one to really gather, right?
Right.
So I'm hoping for an Orton win as well.
Yeah, here's the other thing I want to point out here. When he first came back, he said that he was here for one thing. He was here to go after the gold. And since he's been back, how many times have we seen him challenge for gold? I mean, they had that one. It was him and KO and Cody involved in that story. And I thought that's where we were going with it. But then we didn't. And so I think. And listen, for everybody out there that's complaining about Drew losing the title back to Cody, I know you guys didn't like how WWE did that. But keep in mind that Drew also won it on SmackDown. And he won it because Jacob Fatu got involved in that match. So to me, this wasn't that big of a deal. Not only that, they told a story to get it to be Cody versus Randy instead of just, you know what? Sorry, Drew, we're not going to give you the belt. We're just going to leave it on Cody because we really want to see Cody versus Randy because the fans are looking for that. They gave us a story to get us there. They went a roundabout way to get to this point, and I kind of like it, personally.
I like the Cody, not to cut you off, but I like the Cody Orton thing. Yeah, absolutely. But, what was the fucking point of that?
I mean, for one thing, you did make up to Drew that you so far
believe in him, right?
You only put a belt on him during the pandemic before. And I like Drew, and I think he deserved better. I think he deserved another title, and he's going to get it back. It's just right now, Cody versus Orton is about the title. This is about two men that feel so strongly about one another, and they feel so strongly about that belt that they're going to tell the story that WWE wants to tell. But Drew will be back in the hunt very soon. I would say probably by SummerSlam, you'll see Drew back in the title hunt, and you will see him get that belt back. Just right now, this is the story we're going with. And it'll probably be Drew versus Jacob Fatu at WrestleMania. Just to warn you on that, and actually, I'm not upset about that. I think that's going to be one hell of a match. I think those two are going to tear it down, and I think it's going to be worth watching.
Yeah.
So,
I think it'll be a good match. It just still doesn't make sense. You let Cody lose one of the two biggest PLEs, and it's like, that's. Yeah. Just didn't make sense. But yeah, I mean, Cody versus Orton, I'm looking forward to. I think it's gonna be great. I would rather see these two than like a Drew Cody situation, but the whole build up to it did not make sense.
Yeah. All right, real quick before we get fully started, let's do something for a laugh. I want to show you guys something for a laugh. So, very recently, John Laurinaitis shared an image on his social media of him at a signing, and we have that image for you. We want you to see this, and it seems that he may have used AI to increase the size of the crowd. This picture doesn't really do it justice, but if you look at the Hulkamania shirt up close, you'll see a little bit of weirdness in how the font is underneath the Hulkamania. And then the gentleman just to his right, who's also holding an item, I saw a close-up shot of that item, and yeah, I'm pretty sure that this was AI generated. Now,
I mean, they're not looking anywhere towards it.
Right? Now, not to be outdone, and we have this picture for you as well, Rhino went out and got the Pope to appear at his signing. Yep, there he is right there in the bottom right-hand corner with a sign that says Rhino. Rhino says, I want to thank all of my wonderful fans who came out to my signing over the weekend. It's much appreciated. You packed the house, and I want to just let you all know in no way is this AI or fabricated in any way. The Pope who knew, Rhino fans. Rhino, shout out to you for completely making fun of John Laurinaitis for what he blatantly did on his social media. So thank you for that. That's your laugh of the week. I really enjoyed this when I saw this. I couldn't help but share these two images with the boys, and we had fun with it. So.
I mean, you know what's even funnier is the two Hulk Hogan's right there in the crowd.
Right? Yeah, that's hilarious. All right, guys. We are going to start this out, and our first story tonight is sad news. On March 14th, WWE announced the passing of a man that they have called a legend. This first story comes to us from Ringside News. WWE production veteran Davey Coates passes away. And look, I understand that some of you may never have heard of Davey Coates before this. That's because he worked backstage. And apparently, as I'm going to share in these articles I have about this, he apparently did a lot to make sure that we had our road shows. Sad news has hit the wrestling world as longtime WWE production veteran Davey Coates has passed away. Following the news, Adam Pearce took to Instagram to confirm the loss and honor Coates' legacy. Coates worked behind the scenes for decades, helping bring WWE program to fans around the world, making him one of the many respected figures who contributed to the company outside of the spotlight. Pearce acknowledged the loss while reflecting on Coates' years of dedication to WWE and the impact he had on the people who worked with him. Godspeed, Davey Coates, another absolute legend behind the scenes who tirelessly worked for decades to bring at WWE to the globe. Pearce also spoke about the personal memories he shared with Coates during their time working together in WWE. I can't say enough about his passion and dedication. I am honored to have worked with him and shared countless laughs along the way. My heart goes out to his friends, family, and all touched by this loss. Rest well, sir. While fans primarily see the wrestlers and personalities on screen, figures like Coates play a major role in making WWE's global production possible. His work behind the scenes helped shape the broadcast that millions of fans watch every week. And I got one more story on this, but real quick before I get there, I really didn't know who Davey Coates was before I looked it up. But knowing that he put a lot of effort in to make sure that people around the world got to see WWE, I agree. This man is a legend behind the scenes. Up next, also from Ringside News, John Cena reacts to the passing of WWE touring manager Davey Coates. John Cena has joined the growing list of WWE figures paying tribute following the passing of longtime production veteran Davey Coates. Shortly after, WWE Chief Content Officer Paul Levesque shared a message honoring Coates' decades of work behind the scenes. Cena took to X with a brief response acknowledging the loss. Cena reacted directly to Levesque's tribute post with a message of his own. Rest peacefully, Davey Coates. While short, Cena's comment reflects the respect Coates earned throughout WWE during his long career, helping the company run international events around the world. Levesque's original tribute explained that Coates served as WWE's international touring manager and played a key role in making global events possible. According to Levesque, Coates helped ensure WWE rings and equipment reached even the most remote venues, while also helping operations run smoothly backstage. Coates was also credited with supporting talent throughout the years, including assisting performers who trained at WWE's UK Performance Center. His behind-the-scenes work helped WWE bring live events and television to fans across the globe for decades. Although fans rarely saw his work on screen, figures like Coates are often essential to keeping WWE's massive touring schedule running smoothly. Cena's message adds to the wave of tributes coming from across the wrestling industry as colleagues and performers remember the longtime WWE staff member. And I don't think that the people backstage get enough credit for the work that they do. Everybody, when you go to an independent show, a lot of times it's the boys putting the ring up. So if you are mostly independent fan who occasionally watches the main shows, you may not realize that there is a crew of dedicated people that work tirelessly to make sure that the show goes off with a hitch. And I'm not just talking the ring crew. I'm talking the backstage producers. And sometimes you see them on sometimes you see the producers come out for segments and stuff like that. But I don't know what that means. But you see sometimes with the producers that come out, you've got you got your team that's sitting right there, not commentary, but the rest of them. But what you don't see is the people that work in the office that make the arrangements and schedule the venues and stuff like that. They're truly the unsung heroes. Without them, and I like to point out that without the fans, you don't have a show. But without these backstage people like Davey Coates, you don't have a show. You don't have a venue. You don't have a show. You don't have a ring arriving at the show. You don't have things like that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's terrible, right? Yeah. So definitely, the people in the back just don't get enough love for the most part, right? I think that's something we've always noticed for years. So yeah, definitely thoughts out there, and rest in peace.
Right. All right. Up next, a story that I wish we didn't have to share is the kind of story you wish never happened. By now, most of you have heard what happened at OVW. Our next story will come to us from Ringside News. OVW referee Dallas Edwards shares injury update after scary in-ring incident. Ohio Valley Wrestling referee Dallas Edwards has provided a personal update following the frightening in-ring incident that halted the March 12, 2026 taping of OVW Rise in Louisville, Kentucky. Sorry, I believe they pronounce it Louisville. Anyway, after the accident, fans and members of the wrestling community concerned. After the accident left fans and members of the wrestling community concerned, Edwards took to social media to address the situation directly and reveal the extent of his injuries. According to Edwards, a doctor evaluated him after the incident and confirmed that he suffered both a concussion and a subdural hematoma, which is a type of brain bleed. Hey guys, I know everyone seems to know about the scary incident at OVW. I have been evaluated and I have a concussion as well as a subdural hematoma, a brain bleed. Despite the seriousness of the injury, Edwards said he has decided to take time away from wrestling in order to focus on recovering and regaining his health. With that being said, I have made the decision to take some needed time away to get my life and health back in good spirits. Edwards also addressed the outpouring of support he has received since the incident, explaining that while he appreciates the concern, he is financially stable and does not need donations. He said, I appreciate all the support everyone has been offering, but as far as money goes, I am grateful to be in a position that I can manage an accident like this. Instead, Edwards encouraged fellow wrestlers and industry professionals to focus on improving safety awareness and emergency response training within the wrestling business. In lieu of donations, I instead implore all of my fellow workers to get some sort of training in assisting in others' life. Being in the position before, it's very important to be educated in all scenarios relating to injury, illness, or condition in the ring, especially when we're performing. He also made it clear that he does not blame anyone involved in the incident and is simply focused on recovering. He said, I am not mad at anyone or anything other than the situation as a whole. Edwards added that he had been under observation in the hospital following the accident and was awaiting additional testing to determine when he could return home. He said, as far as updates go, I'm getting a CT scan in the morning, and if that goes well, I'll be home. Thank you to everyone who has reached out or stopped by. It means more than any of you know. Love, Dally. The incident occurred during the main event of the OVW Rise broadcast when Edwards was struck during a diving move and appeared to lose consciousness in the ring, prompting the show to be stopped. Now, as of 2 days ago, I did see that he is out of the hospital. He is at home recovering, so that's good news. That means that there wasn't anything serious enough to keep him any longer at the hospital, so that's good. In light of this, Al Snow has issued a statement on behalf of OVW from Fightful. Al Snow released a statement after the recent scary incident at Ohio Valley Wrestling. An Ohio Valley Wrestling show from March 12 saw an unfortunate accident take place during a match. Referee Dallas Edwards was hit with a springboard forearm during a six-man tag match, which led to seizures. Despite that, the match continued. A wrestler from the bout moved Edwards' body to the side as he was convulsing, and we're going to talk about that after I get through these articles. Dallas Edwards later said in a statement that he has suffered a concussion and internal bleeding. Now, Ohio Valley Wrestling's Al Snow has also addressed the incident. He released the following on social media. Hello, everyone. This is Al Snow. I want to speak directly to our fans and the wrestling community regarding the incident involving referee Dallas Edwards at last week's event. Professional wrestling has always carried an inherent risk of injury for everyone who steps into the ring. On March 12th, during a live OVW show, OVW television event, Dallas was involved in a planned moment of physical contact with a wrestler that resulted in him suffering a head injury. Traditionally, when an in-ring injury occurs, the referee is the central point of communication, assessment, and decision-making. In this unprecedented situation, the person who would normally make that assessment was the one who needed assistance. The unforeseen breakdown in communication contributed to a delay in stopping the match and concluding the show. We are relieved to hear that Dallas is recovering and receiving the medical care he needs. Our thoughts are with him, and we're hoping for his continued improvement. At OVW, the health and safety of our performances and officials has always been a top priority. We are proud of the standards we have maintained over the years, but we also recognize that there is always room to strengthen and improve. With that in mind, we are reviewing our existing procedures and updating several of our in-ring and ringside protocols to ensure we continue to meet the highest expectations for performer safety. These updates include enhanced communication systems, additional referee training, and expanded ringside response measures to help ensure that a situation like this is identified and addressed as quickly as possible. We appreciate the concern and passion from our fans, and we understand the importance of transparency during moments like this. We will continue to share updates when appropriate, and we ask everyone keep Dallas in your thoughts as he continues his recovery. Now, before I get to the final thing that I want to share with you on this story, I want to point out that I did go watch the video. I saw what went down, and I'll be honest, accidents do happen. And one guy noticed that something was wrong after the move went off, and he was checking on Dallas. The other guy came and attacked him again, so they continued fighting. One of the other members of the six-man tag, who was teaming with the guy that hit the one checking on Dallas, he got a hold of the one that was checking on Dallas, and then the guy that attacked that one moved Dallas out of the way. I mean, like, there's a point where you see him literally grab Dallas's belt and pick him up and move him over into the corner to keep the match going. Not long after that, people got to the ringside and managed to get them to stop so that they could check on Dallas. But I felt like watching the video that was the part for me that was a problem. I understand that maybe it wasn't clear that there was a problem before that moment, but when he actually moved Dallas out of the way, that's when you realize there's a problem. And you don't grab him by the belt and move him, you get help. That's my opinion. I know Dallas doesn't blame any of them. And I'm going to get Baron's thoughts on this in a minute. I just want to share one more article first. As you can imagine, there's a lot of criticism over this. This next story comes from Fightful, and it's our old buddy Cornette had thoughts on this, and actually he kind of went scorched earth on this situation. This one comes from Ringside News. Jim Cornette goes scorched earth over OVW over Dallas Edwards' injury. Jim Cornette is going nuclear over the frightening OVW incident that left referee Dallas Edwards hospitalized, blasting the promotion and saying the situation may end up in court. I think we've heard from Dallas's own words that he's probably not planning that, but you never know. The veteran manager and wrestling personality addressed the controversy on his YouTube channel on March 14th after watching footage of the March 12th OVW Rise main event in Louisville, Kentucky. The moment showed Edwards being struck during a diving move before appearing to suffer a seizure in the ring. Cornette said the footage was one of the most disturbing injury situations he's ever seen in wrestling. He said, a referee went into an effing seizure as bad as I've ever seen a person have an effing seizure, including all those boxing knockout videos. What shocked Cornette the most was that the match appeared to continue while Edwards laid helpless in the ring. According to Cornette, it should have been obvious immediately that the situation wasn't part of the match. He said, and the effing guys in the ring just kept having, and in case you're wondering, I'm reading this word for word. This is showing on, and there's a spot coming up where they have the whole thing, but this is how he said it. He said effing for most of this. And if you've ever heard Cornette, he doesn't hold back. He doesn't.
Yeah, I was going to say that's on par for him, right?
Yeah. He said, and the effing guys in the ring just kept having the match around him until people started realizing, oh, shit, that guy's having a fucking seizure. He's laying there motionless. Then he starts turning over sideways and his leg stiffens up. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. The longtime wrestling personality also warned the promotion could face serious legal consequences depending on the referee's condition. Cornette stressed that viewers still didn't know the full extent of Edwards' condition beyond the footage circulating online. The bosses over at OVW better have deep pockets, because if this ain't a lawsuit, I've never seen one, either from this kid or from his family. We don't know yet. All we've seen is the video that's been put out. He also described the move that caused the injury as one of the worst in-ring wipeouts he has seen. According to Cornette, the impact itself was extremely dangerous. He added that Edwards' head appeared to slam the mat violently during the collision. When this big, whoever the fuck guy was, dove off the top rope, this 6 foot whatever, 200 whatever pound guy just blistered this little referee in the middle of the ring. That was as bad of a wipeout as I've ever seen. His head hit so violently on the back of the mat that it knocked him completely fucking unconscious. Cornette then criticized the decision to continue the match while the referee remained down. He also took aim at OVW's reputation as a training environment, questioning whether the promotion is truly equipped to oversee situations like this. The guy who landed on him crouches over him, and you can tell he's like, oh shit, sorry. Then the other guy comes and picks him up. Okay, here we go, and they leave him. We're not talking about this happening at some random independent show. We're talking about OVW. Cornette argued that situations like this highlight a bigger issue across smaller promotions. According to Cornette, many promotions try to imitate major companies while still allowing dangerous risks. It's become a fantasy camp environment, not only in OVW, but in all these places. They all want to mimic and copy the big promotions, but they're still trying to do all the dangerous stuff that even the professionals get hurt doing. He even compared the situation to a controversial AEW incident years ago involving the Dark Order dragging an unconscious wrestler during a match. Cornette wrapped up his rant with one of his most brutal remarks about the incident. For people who remember that, this is like 12 times worse. Nobody would be talking about this television show they just produced, except for the fact that they may have killed somebody on it. His explosive comments come just after OVW executive Al Snow released a statement explaining that a communication breakdown contributed to the delay in stopping the match. Snow said the company is now reviewing procedures and plans to introduce improved safety measures, including enhanced communication systems and additional referee training. Meanwhile, Edwards has confirmed doctors diagnosed him with a concussion and a subdural hematoma, a type of brain bleed following the accident. He said he plans to step away from wrestling while focusing on recovering. With Cornette now tearing into OVW publicly and the footage continuing to circulate online, the incident has sparked intense debate across the wrestling industry about safety standards inside smaller programs. I know that was a lot.
God damn.
I know that was quite a bit, but listen.
Yeah, that was a lot, Max.
One of my main
I was
things,
letting you roll, baby.
One of my main things that I talk about on this show repeatedly, and I've been doing it for 107 episodes of Unleashed. I did it for how many episodes of Rambling About Wrestling? Safety is something that I go on and on and on about. Here's something I want to point out. And Al Snow, I'm not knocking you. I actually appreciate your message. However, how is better referee training going to help if it's the referee that is knocked down and not doing well? Maybe they should have trained him better before the match on how to take the bump, but it also didn't help that big dude hit him pretty good. Either way, though, the moment that he was kneeling over him, I can understand that in that moment you may not have realized that there was a bigger issue. But like I said before, when the bigger guy moved him over, it was already clear at that point. There was a spot after they started fighting again where you see Dallas lift his head a little bit, and then he goes into the seizure right after that. So he was seizing already when that guy grabbed his belt and moved him. And that's the part where I have a problem. At that point in time, when you reached down and grabbed that belt, it was clear that something was wrong. At that point, you don't touch him unless you're trying to help him. in which case you should be calling medical over instead of doing it yourself. I'm, for once, mostly with Cornette. Usually when we do this stuff, I'm like, Cornette's out of touch, blah, blah, blah. Safety is my thing. And this rant from Cornette, I'm on board completely. Al Snow's letter, I'm with that most of the way. But my main concern is Dallas's recovery, to be honest. And Dallas, I hope you get a full recovery out of this, Baron.
Well, yeah, first and foremost, yeah, absolutely. Hopefully he's doing much better. But yeah, we've talked about safety of wrestling for how many years now here on this show? Max preaches it. I mean, I watched this video. I'm like, what the fuck did I just see here? And I totally agree with Cornette on this wholeheartedly. I think there has to be a little bit more standard practices, right? Safety in wrestling in general, and definitely go over your spot like that before a match, especially if you're ref. Yeah, man, it was a nasty fucking spot.
Yeah, and like I said at the start of those 3 articles, this is not something that we want to get on here and talk about. I mean, I want to get on here and remind everybody how important safety is, yeah, but not like this.
Yeah,
this is one of those stories that you should probably that you never want to talk about, and it could have been so much worse. I understand that, but this was bad enough.
We've really went pretty different in wrestling over the last, I don't know, 15 years or so.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, wrestling was always entertainment. People are not going to like that word, but it was, right?
Yeah, it
Mic
was.
work. We know how independent it is. But I feel like wrestlers are a little bit more dangerous now and try high spots more than anything other than developing the character or things along those lines. I feel like everybody is wanting to top the next thing with the next spot, right?
Right.
And this is how things like this happen. And it's terrible.
Yeah, 100%.
I wish that wasn't the case.
Yeah, no. We've talked about the guy from here in Denver that may never wrestle again. He hasn't since his incident several years ago. We've talked about draws. If there was a high profile injury or someone from around me that got injured, we have probably discussed on this show basics that might have avoided that. We've talked about moves that probably should never happen. The 2 main ones that come to mind for me are the headbutt, because this causes kind of flying headbutt from the top rope, causes concussions. And concussions, as we know, are bad on your longevity. Yeah. And the other one is that double stomp Finn Balor does off the top rope. These are 2 of the main moves that I have an issue with because of the level of danger involved in them. And I may be speaking to empty air, but that's just how I feel about those moves. So.
I totally agree with you. Totally.
So, all right. Let's move on. We got some more. We got quite a bit ahead of us yet. With all the unrest in the Middle East right now, we have one upcoming show in danger of not happening. It seems like we discussed this exact thing very recently, Baron. Night of Champions, scheduled to take place in Riyadh in June, is doubtful at best, and this story comes to us from Fightful. Details on WWE Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia. Wrestle votes on Fightful Select reports WWE Night of Champions, PLE, has been slated to take place in Saudi Arabia. But we have learned from sources in Stamford that it is now doubtful at best due to the ongoing conflicts across the region. Now, before I continue this story, let me point out, I don't know if they have sources in Stamford or they're just reading the room, because I'll be honest, I'm kind of reading the room myself. I didn't need sources in Stamford to tell me this was a possibility. Riyadh is right. Riyadh has been targeted. Oh, and this show is scheduled to take place in June. So, to be fair, we still have 3 months before the show. So anything can happen between now and then. Riyadh has been targeted by counterattacks from Iran since major hostilities broke out at the end of February. The U.S. Embassy in Riyadh was struck in early March, reportedly by an Iranian drone. Brandon Thurston of Post Wrestling first reported the WWE Night of Champions is scheduled for June 27th in Saudi Arabia, but the date is in question due to the military conflict involving Iran. So look, Night of Champions has not been the same as it once was. Can we agree on that?
Yeah, 100%.
It used to be Night of Champions. There was not a match on the card that was not a title match in some way, shape, or form.
Fucking stupid.
Not even a number one contenders match. It was literally every match involved a title. And we're talking back when we were doing 8 matches on a single PLE or pay-per-view. And lately, you get 1 or 2 championship matches at Night of Champions, and then you get a whole bunch of other stuff that nobody asked for in most cases.
Yeah. I mean, it's like that every single time, especially over there, right?
Yeah.
I do miss the early age of Night of Champions. I thought that was a cool concept, right?
I liked the early age of Night of Champions, and I liked Taboo Tuesday.
Yeah, Taboo Tuesday. They've only had like 2 or 3 of those, right?
I know, but I really liked the idea that they convinced us we actually had a say in those matches.
Yeah, even though we knew we had no say in those.
Yeah. I mean, they put up hey, this is who's in our main event, and you get to pick their opponent. Vote on this person, or this person. And we all thought that our vote actually counted, and in reality, they had already, fixed the vote to go to who they wanted that person to face. But I really enjoyed that concept. I thought that was a lot of fun. I wish they'd bring back the Taboo Tuesday concept. I would love to see a return to Night of Champions the way it was. This was probably a bad idea scheduling it for over there anyway, considering we just went through this in January, guys. Come on. Serious. It was January, right? When we were talking about they may not even make it back or something. Anyway,
just don't do it, okay? Let's not get crazy with it here. There's no sense to be over there. Move it to the States and do us all a fucking favor. Move for Mania over to the States for us, or put it in the UK somewhere safe. We don't need people traveling in that area right now. Let's be fucking real here. And you know what? The last show they had, I thought the crowd sucked. Right? I get so behind wrestling shows, no matter what the promotion is, when the crowd's invested. That gets me invested even more so. I love the pops. I love the chants. I love the reactions. And when you don't get that, it just doesn't feel like a complete picture, right? Yeah. And I feel like anytime we're there, it's like that, at least for me.
Yeah, and listen, I get it. That culture is very reserved. They don't get loud a lot, except when Sami Zayn is out. But we've talked about the energy level. When you don't have a crowd that's making noise throughout the show, it's a very different feeling in that ring than when they're actually making noise. And most of our stops, most of WWE stops over there in that part of the world, Germany, France, Belgium, UK, Italy, most of those places they go and do shows, you get reaction from the fans. The fans are into it. They're loud but when you go to these cultures that are very reserved and very quiet during matches, it takes away from the energy for the people in the ring. And having worked in a local fed here for a great many years that will remain nameless, I can tell you when there was no crowd, we didn't have the energy, and it just wasn't the same quality of show as it could have been if we had had a crowd.
Oh, I totally agree. I wanted to look something up real quick when we were talking about Taboo Tuesday. Did you like Taboo Tuesday or Cyber? Was it Cyber Sunday?
I thought they did the same thing at Taboo Tuesday, but now that you mention it, Cyber Monday.
I think that's what it is because I started looking around. Cyber Sunday.
I was going to say Cyber Monday is a so you got Black Friday, you got Small Business Saturday, then you have Cyber Monday.
Yeah. So they transitioned Taboo Tuesday into Cyber Sunday.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
And I love that.
And so Taboo Tuesday only had 2 events. 2 events. So I was thinking, I'm like, and then Cyber Sunday had quite a few more. But the one I just seen here's the card here. And I enjoy looking at this old shit here. And I might even go back to watch this. I don't know if it's worth it. Let me just read this card down. This was from which one is this from? It's not really telling me here. Let's see here.
While you're looking at that, I'm going to send you this picture. I'm surprised DC didn't sue WWE.
Yeah. Okay. So this Taboo Tuesday was Sergeant Slaughter versus Muhammad Hassan in a singles match. Okay. Shelton Benjamin and Chris Jericho for the IC title.
Okay, that was a good match.
I think I remember that. Trish versus Molly Holly. Fulfill your fantasy battle royal for the WWE Championship. Oh. So that was a battle royal. Sorry. I'm looking on Wikipedia, just looking at this card. Gene Sinitsky, however you say it, and Kane. Yeah. Weapon of choice match.
You know who Snitsky was, right?
Yeah. Just say the name again for me, though.
Snitsky.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like you know what his thing was, right? It wasn't my fault.
Yeah, with the yellow teeth. God, he was sickening. Eugene and Eric Bischoff. Choose the loser's fate. I think I need to go back and watch this, Pia.
No. Let's be clear about something. In that match, it wasn't just Eric Bischoff. It was Uncle Eric.
Yes, Uncle Eric. Yes.
Listen.
First off, I can't say the next match. I just can't say it. Chrissy Hemme defeated Carmella.
Wow, I didn't even remember they were in the WWE at the same time.
This is a different Carmella.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out who she is because I don't remember her at all.
Okay. What year was that?
It's not giving me a year here.
It should be all the way up
to No, on Wikipedia, it's really not. This has to be the 2008 one. Has to be, right? Triple H defeated Shawn Michaels for the World Heavyweight Championship. And then Orton defeated Ric Flair in a steel cage match. I'm going to have to go watch this shit because I don't remember a lot of this at all. Not to throw us off the loop here.
Let's see here. Hang on. I may have found her, but I'm not sure. Oh, yeah. I found her. Okay. She didn't do much in WWE. She was part of the Diva Search. She placed second.
This is Taboo Tuesday 2004, by the way. Sorry.
Yeah, right? Yeah, that all fits. But her name is Carmella Danielle Garcia. She came in second in the Diva Search at that time. In fact, De Cesar appeared for the WWE, participating in the WWE's 2004 reality competition WWE Diva Search. She was also a Playmate of the Year in 2004. She appeared in the 2005 Playmates at Play at the Playboy Mansion swimsuit calendar.
Yeah. We get it. All right. She's been in a lot. We got it.
So, well, I was building up to the important part. And the person she feuded with, was the person that won that year's Diva Search. And that winner was Christy Hemme. And there, in your inbox, in addition to the picture that I surprised DC didn't sue WWE over, is the picture of this particular Carmella.
Yes. Okay.
So, all right.
And yes, on the first one as well.
Right?
so everybody can see what he's talking about here. You know what? I'm gonna have to go back and watch it.
Yeah. I mean, it might
seems like a fun card, right?
Now, I'll be honest. If you look at that logo you've got up there, up at the top left, you'll see the WWE logo top about middle. But if you look, you have this other line coming up around the side that forms a C, and then the lightning bolt is the S. It's really just the initials for Cyber Sunday.
Yeah.
But it looks like the symbol for a certain extremely fast superhero, who, by the way, is the only person that I can prove walked on water.
Good point.
So,
Flash.
Grant Gustin was great.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go watch that PLE. I think now a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's on Netflix.
I don't know. It might be, but it also might be on YouTube, because that's the rumor I'm hearing, is that stuff is going to be moving to YouTube as well. So, all right, let's move on. We got a little ways to go yet. Up next, we are going to From the Desk of Max Magius. Oh, wait, that's me. As you may know, I like to use my segment to raise awareness to a subject when I can. Tonight is one of those nights. Tonight, I want to talk about one of the hottest stars from the Attitude Era and her complete fall from grace. During the Attitude Era, everywhere you looked, you saw Sunny. She worked with some of the top tag teams of the time, from Legion of Doom to the Body Donnas, from the Smoking Guns to the Godwins. She is widely considered to be the first WWE diva. So what happened to her? Fame is a funny thing. It comes with pressures. Drinking and drugs are everywhere and far easier to access than for us common folk. And Sunny enjoyed that access. She definitely was not moderate about her use. When you're abusing drugs and alcohol to the levels performers were during the Attitude Era, it definitely becomes a crutch in the bad times. Eventually, you lean into it. Being an addict causes even worse choices than what you might have made. Starting in 2012, she started dealing with more serious legal issues, including domestic violence and DUIs. In 2013, she started doing pictures in a bed with fans to raise money for her legal fees. Now, I'm not going to judge the people who paid for this. However, I can't help but think if people hadn't paid for those photo ops and she got appropriate jail time and help at that time, maybe in 2022, she wouldn't have pulled a manslaughter case stemming from a fatal DUI. Despite WWE's zero tolerance drug policy, painkiller abuse was rampant. At the end of the day, I find Sunny's story to be a sad one. Yes, she made choices, but the environment she was in during the Attitude Era was a major contributor to her state of mind and her addiction. Fans taking picture with her enabled her to continue down that dark path. If today's attitude had existed during the Attitude Era, maybe she wouldn't have ended up the way she did. But then again, it was Sunny, so maybe she would have. I'm just glad she's now sober and no longer a danger to the public, at least not until 2039. She's serving a 17-and-a-half-year sentence. Check on your friends. Trust me, it can be the difference between good choices and manslaughter. So that being said, Baron, you doing okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Not sure how to respond to that one. But yeah, fall from grace happened very fast, and
Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and move on. Santos Escobar says he will return. And if you're wondering what he's talking about, because I, for one, didn't realize he was on TV. I haven't seen him in a while. Santos Escobar, this story comes to us from Fightful. Santos Escobar will be back. On March 18th, Fightful Select reported that Santos Escobar was set to do tricep surgery following his match at AAA Rey de Reyes. Oh, so he has been doing shows, just not Raw or SmackDown. The promotion followed that up by releasing a digital video with Escobar, where he announced that he'll be out of action for months. Then on March 19th, Escobar took to Instagram to share a photo of himself in the hospital. It was captioned with, "I'll be back." You are not Arnold Schwarzenegger, Santos. Fightful will update fans when more is known about Escobar's recovery and his return to the ring. On the March 16th episode of Raw, WWE announced that Dominic Mysterio is not cleared for in-ring action following his Rey de Reyes match with El Hijo del Vikingo. So we do seem to have a couple of injuries going on right now. Injuries happen, but some of them can be avoided. Santos, speedy recovery. Take some time off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I totally, until you mentioned this story, forgot about Santos. Totally did. And I felt really bad when you said that because I was like, oh, shit. I totally forgot about him.
Right?
That's unfortunate because he is really good.
Well, I've seen his boys backstage lately in backstage segments. Recently, they were back there prior to Elimination Chamber. They were part of the R2 segment where he was telling everybody how to get on ESPN. Gargano goes by with his wife pushing him on the road case. And Kit Wilson came over and said that they were all toxic for the way they treated Gargano. But Santos hasn't been around. It's weird.
Yeah.
Speaking of returns, we might have an update on the return of the Street Profits. This is from Fightful. Street Profits' return could be in the works. On the latest episode of WrestleVotes Radio on Fightful Select, it was revealed that Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins have been discussed in creative talks. A return could be in the works for the team, who have been off television since October of 2025. Ford and Dawkins last wrestled on January 31st as they teamed with Hank and Tank at an NXT Live event. Fans can check out the current lineup for Friday's episode of SmackDown by going to WWE.com. So, I mean, I'm not sure why they've been off the air. They are entertaining, and I'm looking forward to them coming back.
Oh, I agree. I just feel like this is a group that ain't going to be around much longer.
Well, let me ask you this. Which incarnation of the Profits did you like better? The Red Solo Cup carrying, partying team, or what they became under Bobby Lashley before he kind of vanished in the middle of that story?
The second half.
Really?
Red Solo Cup was good too, like the beginning, right? Their face run. But it also was an annoying part. It's like the Jey Uso. I just can't get behind it. I don't know what it is. It's just not my thing. I think they're both really talented, but they're also just they have no depth, right? Like I don't feel like they have mic work. I don't know. It's just they're just a tag team that tag team division already is rough, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like these two guys are guys that get lost in that.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's unfortunate because they are both really, really, really good.
They are. And I like when you have an entertaining group. we had JTG on Rambling About Wrestling a couple years ago. We did an interview with them. It was a lot of fun. I mentioned to him that one of my favorite moments was with them was when they were here in Denver selling Regal stuff at ringside during the Raw here, and they were entertaining. They made me laugh. I enjoyed watching them. Another one of my favorite moments, I think they were in the UK and DX was trying to get into Raw, and they found Crime Time outside scalping tickets.
Yeah.
And so that was hilarious. And for me, that's part of the reason I liked the early appearance of Street Profits. I thought they were a lot of fun in that gimmick.
Yeah.
They were out there having fun. They were being entertaining. They were interactive. And here's the thing. The over serious nature of what they became under Bobby Lashley tells me that I don't want to see them versus the Wyatts. I want to see them in the goofier face gimmick to go up against the Wyatts. Because could you imagine them? They're out there going, yo, what is this? I just think that the reaction from the goofy gimmick will be far more entertaining than from the serious gimmick.
I agree, right? I agree. I know exactly what you're saying. I really don't. I don't think it matters which way they are for me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, and I don't want to see him against Wyatts. I don't want to see anyone against Wyatts.
I think they could be fun feuding with the Wyatts, kind of how Bret Hart was fun when Kane came down to the ring that time. Yeah. And if you were watching Bret, you actually saw him jump from the pyro, and then he went right on camera. I mean, it was like clear as day, because we're talking a guy that shows very little reaction to the stuff that's happening during entrances, and that got him, and it broke him in that moment. And so he reacted to his own reaction. It was amazing. I thought that was great. All right, if you've been a wrestling fan as long as I have, you probably remember an incident where Vader smacked a Kuwaiti reporter. Now, why did he do that? Because that reporter had the audacity to ask about wrestling being fake. When you are the GOAT in your sport, you might get away with insulting wrestling in this way once, but can you get away with it twice? From Fightful, Tom Brady. All the WWE stuff is so cute and scripted. There's no fake BS in American football. Tom Brady continues to take shots at WWE. In promoting his upcoming flag football game, Tom Brady was asked by Sports Illustrated how many WWE superstars it would take to sack him. All their stuff is so cute and scripted, and they know what's going on. In a football game, you don't know. They wouldn't even get near me. Plus, if I had a good offensive line, they'd punch those guys right in the throat, and they'd probably be crying. There's no fake BS we do in American football, he stated. Brady and Logan Paul have been trading shots in the media over the last month in preparation for the flag football game. Look, Vader made a guy bleed for asking if wrestling is fake. And look, I know you're a big name and you're not this little reporter from a foreign country, but perhaps calling it fake is not in your best interest. You know what I mean?
You wanted to slander the GOAT so bad on this show tonight. No, I totally know what you mean. I totally agree. I've been watching wrestling 20 plus years, right? And I think we all know the notion of what it is and how it's presented, right? We get it. It's entertainment. There's just people that haven't understood that. I also thought at some point in time, Tom Brady's a wrestling fan.
I think he was at some point, but
I don't think it was too far away either. That's my thing that I didn't understand with the comments he was making. because I know he was a wrestling fan, or might even still be. So I didn't understand where he was coming from with that. But wrestling and football are two different things, two different sports, two different athleticism that comes involved with that. Primarily, where did Brock Lesnar come from?
Football.
Football. Where did Roman Reigns come from?
Football.
Where did The Rock come from?
Football.
Where did Braun come from?
I know he's not popular around here, but Goldberg.
Yeah, I mean, these guys come from football. Probably, I would say a large portion of wrestlers come from football. Not saying professional; they played college league.
The Rock played Canadian.
Yeah, so yeah, I don't think Brady, you are the football GOAT. There's no denying it. And I don't even want to go into a debate because actually nobody could fucking fight it. You're off the rails on this one for sure. I don't agree with what he said about this. I know he's trying to build some heat and some promo work for this flag football thing, but those aren't the right words.
And listen, I don't care what you say. Joe Montana is the greatest football player of all time.
Okay.
Just for the record, those of you out there, I know that Joe Montana is the guy that was in Criminal Minds. Joe Montana was the football player. So don't at me on this subject. It was just a joke. We're not the only ones that take a little issue with what he said. Also from Fightful, Charlotte Flair, Danhausen, Bella Twins respond to Tom Brady's latest WWE comments. WWE isn't taking Tom Brady's comments lightly. The multi-time Super Bowl champion made headlines once again on March 19th as Sports Illustrated shared a clip of him calling WWE cute and scripted. Brady also struck a nerve by saying that there is no fake BS in American football. Charlotte Flair went viral with her response to Brady. A lot of words to say. If I had 5 guys to protect me, I might be okay. The account for Nikki and Brie Bella also chimed in. I bet I can sack you. They had a winky face, so they might have been flirting. Well, maybe not Brie. Danhausen noted that it only takes one WWE star to curse Tom Brady. Oh, I'm sorry. Danhausen noted that it only takes one WWE star to curse Tim Bordy. Earlier this month, Fightful Select reported that some departments within the company have been working on logos and special merchandise for Tom Brady. And listen, it's one thing to build heat. And I didn't mind the comments cute and scripted. That part I didn't mind. I'm not going to deny the scripted. I'm okay with that word. Scripted, choreographed, pre-planned, staged. I don't mind these. Fake takes it to a different place. Fake implies that nothing we do is real. And if you feel that way, show up in a training session, get in the ring, take some bumps, run the ropes. By the end of it, you will have a whole new perspective on what's real and what's fake about the world of professional wrestling. That's honestly, that's where I stand on that. There's one word that I want stricken from the discussion about pro wrestling.
Yeah, don't use that word. We've seen a couple wrestlers do that, right? Smack the reporter. Right. And you know what? Rightfully so.
We had a show. Well, I wasn't at this show. One of the guys I worked with at my shows with the company that I'm not naming was an old school guy. He's been around the business for many years. And I mean, like, he was on the road with WWE in the early days. Right after it became WWF instead of WWF. He's been around a long time. And he was telling us that there was a show that they did. And there was this guy on the front row. And back then, you could get away with this stuff. So let me preempt this by saying, don't try this today. there was a guy on the front row that was screaming out, "This is fake. This shit is so fake." So at one point, my guy was supposed to go over the top rope and just land outside the ring. Before he got thrown from the other rope and tossed, he said, "Overthrow me." And his opponent, because back then these things were acceptable, was like, "Okay," overthrew my guy. My buddy lands across this fan. So, I mean, the fan's sitting like I am, and my buddy went across him like this, came down on this guy's lap, basically. The four legs of the chair went four different directions, and they fell in a heap on the floor. And as Glenny starts to get back up, he goes, "Damn, I'm just glad this shit's fake, you know?" And somebody came in and hit Glenny from behind, and he slammed back down on this fan. And this went on for a couple of minutes. And the whole time, my buddy just kept going, "Good thing this shit's fake. Somebody could get hurt doing this." So that brings us to Baron's Buzzkill tonight. And you already kind of answered this, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Should the GOAT just get a pass because he's the GOAT? Or are the wrestlers who have responded, including Logan Paul, are they right?
I'm still giving the GOAT the fucking pass. I also feel like there's some shit that he might get involved down the road with the wrestling because of this. I mean, it's the GOAT, right? I mean, I'm a Cowboys fan, so like I will stay true to that, but I do recognize the GOAT. But yeah, I don't know. I'm partial to this here. I don't feel like anybody, no matter who the celebrity is, needs to use that word fake, right? I don't believe that's I think that should be forbidden in wrestling. And wrestling conversations. Fake is not the proper word to use in that. I don't know. I like Tom Brady, but yes, I don't understand why he's even doing this event with wrestlers. Is it just Logan Paul that's in this?
You know what? I'm not sure. I know that I'm pretty sure it's them that are the captains of their team, so to speak. Let's find out.
Because I'm actually pretty curious. Teams
might have a fight. That's I don't know. Oh, all right. Real quick, I'm not going to tell you guys where I got this particular story from, but I do want to point out that apparently, so it sounds like it's football players versus wrestlers. And I've even seen that Gronk got involved in this, of course, on Brady's side.
Oh, yeah, of course, right?
But apparently Brady, at least he says he did, he told the other NFL players to chill out over Logan Paul's comments. So, and he shut down Logan Paul's athletic claims. And I'm sorry, but I'm going to side with Logan Paul on this. And I'm going to say that you do need to be athletic in the WWE, no matter what the GOAT says.
Oh, well, absolutely. I mean, just as much. They're 365 days, right?
Right.
Not saying football players are not in phenomenal shape here, but I mean, they are doing this literally every single day for the most part. You know, and looking at the roster, it looks like it's, what is it? Brady's and Hurts team versus Joe Burrow and Jaden Daniels. Is that what I'm seeing here? And then looks like I Show Speed, Logan Paul is a part of this.
Apparently, okay, here we go. So the Founders team, which is captains Tom Brady and Jalen Hurts, they have Devontae Adams, Saquon Barkley, Derwin James Jr., Kyle, I'm not going to pronounce that last name, Juszczyk or something, Jalen Ramsey, ODB Jr., DeAndre Hopkins, Luke Kuechly. That was the other team. Tom Brady, Jalen Hurts. They have Tom Brady, Jalen Hurts, Ashton Jonty, Alvin Kamara, Rob Gronkowski, Antoine Winfield Jr., Devontae Smith, Stephon Diggs, Von Miller, DeMar Hamlin, Patrick Peterson, Terrence Crawford, and their coach is Sean Payton. On the Wildcats team, which is Joe Burrow and Jaden Daniels, along with Logan Paul and I Show Speed, you've got Burrow, Daniels, Devontae Adams, Barkley, Derwin James Jr., Kyle Juszczyk, Jalen Ramsey, ODB Jr., DeAndre Hopkins, Luke Kuechly, of course, Paul and I Show Speed. And their coach is the son of a coach that led Denver to the Super Bowl. They've got Kyle Shanahan.
Be interesting to watch whenever it happens. But yeah, goofy.
Yeah, it sounds like the only non-football players you have playing
Speed and Terrence Crawford and
Terrence Crawford?
Yeah, he's a boxer.
Oh, interesting.
I think. Yeah, I'm pretty positive it's a boxer. Yeah, it'd be interesting. So I just don't know how wrestling got dragged into this.
Oh. No, I'm sorry. There is one more. I can't believe I didn't realize that before, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not going to say this name again until I look it up. Nope, it's not who I thought it was. This guy's a wide receiver. I feel like this whole thing is stacked against the people that have Logan Paul and I Show Speed on their team.
Yeah, a little bit.
No offense. They're very athletic guys. I mean, I Show Speed put on a hell of a performance last year in the Rumble, but they're not. I don't imagine they're going
to be getting much time in this. These are professional football players.
Right. Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to our next story. And I've already let Baron know that he's probably not going to like the topic, but whatever. There were multiple names surrounding the WWE sale before we were told that TKO was buying them, including a Saudi prince and Disney. One name might surprise you, though. And this story comes from Fightful. Tony Khan placed a $6.9 billion bid for WWE in the 2023 sale process. Tony Khan's company made an offer for WWE. An exclusive story was posted to Post Wrestling via Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics. It has to do with AEW Ring of Honor owner Tony Khan bidding for WWE in 2023 when the company was in its sale process, which ultimately went to Endeavor and went under the TKO umbrella. According to court filings, Base 10, a company backed by Tony Khan, placed a bid on WWE in 2023. TKO is currently the subject of an ongoing shareholder lawsuit, which I didn't know we had a shareholder lawsuit. I knew we had a couple of other things going on, but the complaint and legal responses from the defendants have been redacted. The identities of the bidders were revealed, and in addition to Khan's Base 10 company, Liberty Media and private equity firm KKR bid on WWE. It was understood that Liberty Media and KKR had placed bids, but the unredacted information confirmed it. Tony Khan is not mentioned by name in the complaint, but Base 10 and All Elite Wrestling are. The complaint reads, Base 10 is the owner of All Elite Wrestling, a professional wrestling promotion that plainly would enjoy significant synergies with WWE. Florida business records show that Base 10 Inc. was incorporated in 2014, and Tony Khan is listed as the sole officer, and the company's address is the NFL Jacksonville Jaguars Stadium, which the Khan family owns. A Sports Business Journal piece quoted Khan in 2015 when he talked about Base 10. Post Wrestling reached out to Khan, AEW, WWE, TKO, KKR, PLE, ABC, FBI, TNA. That was a lot of things they listed there. Weird. Khan and KKR both declined to make a statement, and there was no response from the other parties. Base 10 offered $6.9 billion, KKR $8 billion to $8.7 billion. Liberty Media, $8.5 to $8.9. Endeavor offered $8.5 billion. When the SEC filings were sent out after the merger, the identities of the bidders were protected via pseudonyms, Base 10 also indicated to WWE that it would need equity and debt financing partners to complete a transaction with WWE. It is unknown if AEW's status as a WWE competitor was a factor in Base 10 not advancing in the bidding process. NBC, Universal, Disney, Amazon, Netflix, and the Saudi Arabian government did not place a bid for WWE. So it's interesting that those names were all in the talks about who might be trying to buy WWE, but not one of them actually placed a bid. Wow. Vince McMahon, WWE President Nick Khan, Chief Content Officer Paul Triple H Levesque, and former WWE board members Michelle Wilson and George Barrios are the defendants in the aforementioned shareholders class action lawsuit. The trial is set to begin in June. Damn. Can Vince McMahon catch a break and not have some kind of court case going? Not that I'm defending him. I'm just saying now I have heard of 3 or 4 different cases that he is a defendant in.
I mean, that kind of speaks volumes, right?
Oh, yeah.
Could you imagine if Khan got that?
I mean, the wrestling landscape would be so different.
I don't even know what would happen. It would have been, and what's crazy is he's got the money. His family's got the money. They could have, and they could if they wanted to, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why he would need equity partners, like was said here. Equity and debt financing partners to complete a transaction with WWE. My understanding is that if he is ever at a point where, hey, I need this amount of money for this, his dad's like, here. I don't understand why he would have needed, and the only partner he needs is his dad, if I'm not mistaken. He just calls his dad up.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think it's interesting that he made a bid on it. We'll see what happens.
I think was it like a tongue-in-cheek kind of bid, right? Like,
I don't know.
I feel like it almost had to be.
I'm surprised that by the 4 names that are on that list. I mean, obviously, I know who Endeavor is. I know who Tony Khan is. I never expected to see his name on the list, but I don't really know much about Liberty Media or KKR. So I don't know. We will. I guess we'll see what happens going forward, because I feel like there is a chance that this does not end up. God damn it.
Yeah. I agree. God damn it.
So I don't know if you remember this, but I mentioned last week that all of a sudden I cannot pull up Fightful articles on my laptop.
Yes.
Get down to our last story of the night, and now I cannot pull it up on my phone either.
Well, give us the brief rundown of the story, because you clearly read it.
Yeah. So a former WWE diva is making her return to the pro wrestling world. Let's see if I can do it this way and pull this up. She is, nope, crap down on me there. She is currently doing a backstage position down in TNA, but thinks it could lead to an in-ring return. That WWE diva is Candice Michelle. This could be interesting. This could.
Okay. Good for her.
Yeah.
What kind of role is she having?
Well, I didn't get that far into the article. I just know she's working backstage. I'm guessing with the other girls, helping them develop their characters, or maybe she's working with production. But either way, she's got her foot in the door.
Yeah, good for her. I mean, she is definitely signed to the company. So yeah, good for her.
Yeah, I mean, maybe this leads to something more lucrative. Maybe it doesn't. We'll see what happens as that develops. If she does get back in the ring, we'll talk about it here on the show, because some of us look back fondly on the Attitude Era and remember Candice Michelle.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
She had that little.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see something here. She's a little over a year younger than me, so I don't know exactly how much longer she would have left in the ring, but it might be fun to watch.
In the ring, though, doesn't mean she has to have a match, right?
I mean, she wants an in-ring return. To me, that sounds like she
I
wants
guess.
to.
I mean, no. I mean, yes, big goals, and I hope maybe it does work out. Maybe not in WWE, but like we do remember her initial run, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I'll tell you what. I actually found the story on Ringside News, so I'll read this to you real quick. Candice Michelle's return to wrestling just took a bigger turn because now she's not just working behind the scenes, she's hinting at stepping back in the ring. The former WWE Women's Champion was officially signed by TNA on March 13th, with the company positioning her in a backstage role working with talent. But just days later, a new update has completely shifted the conversation. Speaking with Chris Van Vliet, Michelle revealed how quickly things moved after she got the call from Tommy Dreamer and how intense that transition really was. She said, Tommy Dreamer called me and offered me a spot as an agent. It started in January, which was my first show. He was so funny, like, come and shadow me the first weekend, and next weekend you'll be an agent. All I could think about was, that's wrestling. We're going to see if you survive or not, if you can do it or not, and throw you to the wolves. I'm like, okay, let's go. I'm back. And that's where things take a turn. Michelle made it clear that this opportunity might not stop at working behind the scenes. In her mind, this could be the beginning of something bigger. I think this initial call was my hook spot, and I think it's going to lead into my comeback. She then explained when that feeling first came back, and it didn't happen inside TNA. It started earlier at WrestleCon when she found herself surrounded by wrestling again. That instinct didn't go away either. She actually acted on it, approaching Dustin Rhodes directly and putting the idea out there. She said, I was at WrestleCon and my promoter had Dustin Rhodes on. Something told me to go up to him and say I wanted to wrestle again. I was like, am I really listening to this voice? Maybe it's because I'm at WrestleCon. You see all these wrestlers and you get the itch. I went over to him and said, hey, I know you have a school in Texas, and I think I've got the itch again. That moment now feels like the starting point, especially considering what happened next. After reconnecting with wrestling at WrestleCon, Michelle then got a call from Dreamer in December, and in her mind, it all lines up. She said, and then come to December and get this call from Tommy Dreamer. I just feel it's coming. Like it's coming. I don't know when it's coming, but it's coming. Michelle hasn't competed since the December 2nd, 2017 House of Glory show, where she defeated Victoria. What started as a confirmed backstage role is now looking like a potential comeback story, with Michelle openly admitting the desire to wrestle again after 8 years away from the ring. For now, she's officially part of TNA in an agent role, but if her comments are any indication, that may not be the only role she plays for long. That's our story there. I'm kind of intrigued by this, and I don't think I'd have a problem with her returning to the ring.
Yeah, fuck it. Everybody else says, why not?
Yeah. I mean, listen, if Ric Flair can consistently do it after retiring how many times, I'm okay with Candice Michelle making a return.
Yeah, I was going to say, didn't he make comments not too long ago about wanting to have another match?
I want one more match. No, you don't, Flair. Go sit down.
Flair. We don't want it.
All right, guys. I think that's going to do it for Ramblers Unleashed tonight. Until next time, Baron, how can they find you?
Scumbag Jordan with 3 ends.
All right. You can follow me at Max Magius. You can follow the podcast at the Ramblers Pod. Find us on Facebook. If you enjoyed tonight's show, hit the like button. If you aren't already subscribed, consider subscribing and hit the bell to be notified when we go live. Now, get out there, watch some wrestling.
Yes, please do. Peace and love.
Thanks for tuning in to Ramblers Unleashed. Follow the show on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and click the bell icon for notifications of upcoming episodes.